It's October, meaning it's Halloween month, which means we gotta get spooky. No, we're not just watching bad movies that we shriek at on a bi-weekly basis. We're actually doing some of the horror ones, and tonight is no different. We're gonna be covering 2006 Silent Hill. So stay with us.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's video game movie anatomy.
You can feel it, all of the spooky, scary nature that is Silent. This is the regular game. This is like the regular Silent Hill thing.
I'm not spooked.
No?
No, I'm just not.
Terrifying. Doesn't send chills
it's not.
down
There's
your
no chills.
spine.
Zero chills. I know.
That's
I know.
Bad. That's bad.
I know.
So
Welcome
sad.
to Video Game Movie Anatomy on the Popcorn Talk Network, where we cover the film adaptations of some of our favorite interactive media. I am one of your hosts, the internet's Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at the same place, Mark B. Donica. Joined as always, we got the full squad. Mrs. Stacey Shuttleworth.
I'm Stacey Shuttleworth. You can find me on Twitter at Stacey Shuttles or on Twitter and all over the web at Nerds Doing Stuff because I'm a nerd doing stuff.
True story.
Patrick Dees.
Hello, guys. You can find me on Twitter at P to the D's, and where I'm not usually doing stuff. I gotta represent the other half here. Yeah.
Not
When
doing
somebody's
stuff?
doing stuff, I'm not doing stuff.
You're doing
Right.
stuff, but not on social media.
You can
True.
get
Yeah, this is
anything
true.
online.
This is true. Fair enough.
You're a very busy man.
I mean, well, I pretend to be. I'm too busy throwing away my Sundays watching bad movies so you don't have to.
You love it.
I do love it. I do it for you guys. I do it for this show.
You're a beautiful human
I
being,
know.
and for it. So today we're covering 2006's Silent Hill.
Wow.
This was directed by Zach Lipovsky, and this is considered to be a labor of love. He was a huge fan of the Silent Hill franchise and thought that he had the best ideas to bring a franchise forward. Is that the case? Well, we're going to discuss that right now. Hit the No, we're already in. So the breakdown of Silent Hill, the movie, is a woman goes in search for her daughter within the confines of a strange, desolate town called Silent Hill. Thoughts?
Yeah, well,
First
so
thoughts?
let me ask you guys this though: Did you guys see this in the theater? Like, was this your first time seeing this film, or what was your
This
experience
was my
with this
first time seeing
Okay.
Silent
This was my
Hill
first time
as
too.
a movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what did you like? Were you guys optimistic going into it, or like, what did you think?
I mean, Silent Hill is one of the creepiest
I
kind of
totally
franchises
agree.
out there. I was
I
like,
know.
this is gonna be super scary.
Yeah.
It's got it. I mean,
Yeah.
and I've never heard negative things about the movie.
No, right,
Like,
nobody-
Like not downright.
No.
Oh, God, this is awful.
No,
Or
right.
like, oh, what a terrible video. Like, it's a scary movie. So I figured, okay, of course it's not gonna be great, but it's a scary movie. It's probably gonna be fun.
Hard to
and
screw up.
scary.
No, and especially with horror films, they have more of a chance to
Oh.
dive deep into that R. They can go hard R. There
Yes.
can be blood. There can be
Yes.
gore. There can be guts. There can be cursing. There can be everything.
And in a way, I feel like they can be much more like consistent with the source material.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And so, like, totally. So I did see this in the theater, and all of my friends hated me for it. Like, not video game playing friends. Well, like,
Did you force them to come with you?
Yeah, it was that and like Doom, right? Like, and like these are the two movies that I'm like, hey, I'm a video game nerd. Let's go watch this thing that I'm like passionate about. This is when a little piece of me started to die, and I've like it's just a downward spiral until the show in which I'm getting this regular catharsis. So it'd been a minute. Obviously, I've not revisited it since the theater.
Fair enough.
And it was worse than I remember.
Yeah.
Aw.
I remember it being bad,
Yeah.
but not this bad.
It's not a great movie, but
No.
there are some soft spots that I think people pull from.
For sure.
That people recognize, wow,
Absolutely.
it's moments. There's
Yeah,
a
I
moment
agree.
here,
Yeah.
moments
Yes.
there, but all of the part in between, the cohesion is not there.
Incredibly well said.
The-
Totally.
One of my main issues with it is Zach Lipovsky in trying. Sometimes you can be too close to the source material.
Yeah.
And he wanted to
Okay,
make something
right.
that represented the Silent Hill franchise up to that point, which was 1 through 4. And you can't do that.
No.
Each Silent Hill game has something specific about those characters. So you can't
Very unique.
Yeah.
And they're all just smushed. Yeah, yes.
like why I think the only reason why they put Alessa in the hospital setting was so that they could get nurses in there.
Yeah,
So they had
that was
no,
it.
totally.
That was absolutely it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the nurses, but I think my biggest issue is that there's a lot, but I think my biggest problem is that Rose is our main character, and she's the one who's drawn to Silent Hill. the town isn't for her, you know?
Right.
No.
Like Silent Hill 2, it was for James.
Sure.
Right.
So and everything sort of reflected the darkness in the corners of his mind and his heart, and gave you clues into what kind of a man he is. This wasn't that. This is a woman. This is one woman running, yelling, screaming, and a police woman running with a gun and a
After
flashlight.
her.
And then
Totally.
to run and yell and scream too.
Hey, get back here!
It
was weird.
It was weird. Yeah, but like to your point, there are like these great moments where I feel like, and we'll get into it during the speedrun, but like there's something about this that I kind of applaud. It was ambitious, and you can
very
see,
true.
and so you can see the money on the screen, like this $50 million budget, like it is all there. You see it. It looks
yeah.
expensive compared to some other movies that we've chatted about and needed to.
Very true. Very true.
Needed to
think
discuss a little bit more.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So we play some games on the show. We like to make light of our situation. This is our life goal, after all.
Yes.
So one of the things we like to do is a speed run,
Yes.
which is a quick review of the film. For example, we have a couple of quick examples because they're supposed to be quick. Just gesturing to this side of the room.
We own this.
So, for example,
Speedish run.
Mortal Kombat has a cheesy script but nails the spirit of the game. Street Fighter's costume designer was the only person who did their job on this film, actors and all. Quick, to the point, something you'd read on the back of the box at your local GameStop. But in case we don't have that, who wants to go first on this side of the table?
I'd really like Stacey to go first because she was writing hers like up until the moment we went
Okay,
live.
So
I know.
I wrote it immediately after watching
Oh, you
the movie.
did?
I did. I wrote it, and then I sat there and I'm thinking about the movie more and more, and getting more and more frustrated with what happened in this movie.
Oh, is that right?
So my speedrun has definitely changed and become not very speedy.
That's so
anymore.
interesting to me.
I
So,
see that paragraph.
I feel like mine
you
wouldn't
don't.
be. First of all, mine are way too long anyway. But if I would be way more scathing, I think, in my speed runs. I need to digest it a little bit. I usually do the next morning when I actually end up writing
Some
it.
of them I have right off the bat. Usually they're the really bad ones.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right. This ought to be good. Yeah. Let's
Yeah, just like that. All right.
let's hear it.
I'll go first. So I doubt anyone would print this on the back of a box, but you know, we'll pretend.
Sure. Yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, yeah.
There's still time.
True. All right. Silent Hill sets us in a bone-chillingly eerie town populated by grotesque inhabitants masquerading as human beings. It's quite literally the stuff of nightmares. Until a largely nonsensical attempt at plot and character convolutes everything and renders any terror you might feel completely ineffective.
That's not that bad. That's pretty short. Yeah.
Could have been worse.
It worked.
That was great. It was great. I'm just saying, like, I was really expecting like a monologue. Like, all right, let's
I go on.
let's go.
for
All right,
hours.
And
we're
then
filibuster.
What were those
Lord.
bugs?
Yeah.
Look,
We
I've
open
learned.
on a child running outside.
I just
Yes.
relate the
Yeah,
entire
100%.
movie.
Exterior, afternoon, day.
All right,
what's
well,
your
fine.
Patrick?
I did pretty well.
I thought it was pretty good. So I've got this film adaptation of the Silent Hill games is not only visually inspired, thematically ambitious, but it manages to be incredibly faithful to the mood and tone of the source material. That is, however, not to say that it's competent, coherent, or worth yours or anybody else's time. Watch something else.
This is another one of those ones where it's like, hey, we're gonna get drunk and watch scary movies. I'm bringing Silent Hill.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, when you don't care about the plot and you just want to see it look creepy. I
Yeah,
totally
and you
agree with
want to
that.
have those whoa
Yeah.
moments.
Okay, I'll get that. I'll give you that.
It's just on in the background of the party is the only like use case I can
we
see.
tried to be really nice.
Because I
before
do
ripping into
I
it.
believe it though. Like I feel like there's a lot there, right? Like it's ambitious. I mean, like it, like and
The mood and tone.
There
I
are
agree with
parts
you on
that
that.
Totally.
were great.
and thematically, like they try for some things. None of it's
yeah.
paid
And it
off or
does-
explained well. To your point.
No.
And it does have some video game moments.
Does?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
we're
100%.
We're talking about the
Yes.
plot in a little bit. There are definitely some straight up. Wow, that was a checkpoint.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
100% a checkpoint.
Oh, yeah.
That's weird. Screw it. I'll just say
Yeah,
it now.
do it.
When I'll wait till controller tells me.
Wait,
I'll wait till
okay,
controller tells me.
hold on.
Yeah.
So mine. Speaking to the directing by Zach Lepowski, Silent Hill and Bon Jovi both give love a bad name.
Oh Oh, jeez.
That's it. That's all I got.
Again,
Well.
he's a pro. He's the best in the business.
That's
We need to
speedrun.
learn from him. We should call it conference call before every one of these shows.
We need lessons.
I know.
Can you host
Thank you.
classes for us?
Teach you brevity.
So, speaking of controller toss moments, in case you're new, it's another one of the games we play here is where you're having that moment where you're watching the movie and you have a loudly or quietly, "You've got to be kidding me!" and you wing your controller across the room. These are those ridiculous moments. How long is everybody's list?
I gave up after the first after about the first half hour. There were just so many, and they just kept coming.
Yeah.
So I think they're almost. To me, it's front loaded, right? Like it is the first 30 minutes of the film. We're like, what are we doing?
That's why I was like, after this, I'm not throwing the controller at anything.
You're just in it at
By
that
now,
point.
I'm there.
Creepy little Ash children and
leave it over there.
spooky, sexy nurses.
That was the only. That was.
Wow.
Mess with young Patrick's sexuality, like just a little bit. It was very confusing when I was a young man playing these games.
So
They're sexy, but they're gross. I don't know.
So the move that gets you is the little
sword.
The move that gets you is the little twitch.
Yeah,
It's like, ooh.
wow, but like
Ladies. Everybody else is like, that's disgusting. You're
gross.
like, are you kidding me?
I just.
She's perfect.
This is a safe place. It's just the three of us talking, right? It's
Yeah.
not the whole
Yeah.
internet.
No one's
no,
listening.
great.
We're not live.
Don't worry.
Nope.
No.
Sorry to our audio listeners. But speaking to the Ash children, that was the only thing that made me go, oh, maybe we are going to see a little bit more into Rose's head.
Yeah.
Because she has a fear of losing her child.
Sure.
So if she's seeing these children around, that's one of the few things I'm like, okay, but that's like top level. But when she sees Alessa in the corner and hops over like all of the girders, and then she's like, oh, I guess it was nothing. How'd you get over there? Here, take this rope.
Yeah.
That's the checkpoint I was talking about. It's like, that's a video game thing.
It
That's
absolutely
hilarious.
is.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even think about that, but you're absolutely
It
right.
was great. You go through all of these hurdles and it's terrible, and then it's like, oh, there's a really easy way.
No, you don't have to go
Don't
back.
worry about it.
Yeah,
You don't have
yeah.
to go back the other way. It's magical. It's a video game.
So
I
that's
was
one
thinking
of
about
mine.
the video game moment I was thinking of was when she has to memorize the rooms. Like left, right, left, right, left,
yeah.
right. Like early gaming moments where you had to just know that pattern.
It's like, no, it's trying to shut up, let me do
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Taking your gaming too seriously right here,
Patrick,
honey.
come up for dinner. No, I'm memorizing stuff.
We've all been there.
Left, right. Yeah, no, totally, absolutely. I think I think I started this movie with a controller toss moment because, like, literally, I texted you guys, but like, it's just straight up books out of the house and she's just running. Like, this movie, like, there is no easing the audience into it. It's just like we are running down the street.
And not only that, we never go back and actually get any explanation for why this is happening.
No,
it's
totally.
just happening.
We
No,
kind of do. It's very stupid.
Fine, it's not satisfying.
what's
so
the
I
word?
don't accept
What's the
it.
word? Stupid.
Stupid.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Diluted.
Diluted is good.
Yeah.
Too advanced for our small, tiny brains.
Apparently.
I think it started there, and for me, it was a series of them, to your point, over the first 30 minutes. I think, for me, what really got me was, it was real dumb the entire time she's headed to Silent Hill, which, you know, there's movies that, like, it feels almost like a modern movie, but then all of those modern technological conventions are missing. Like, she's wearing the phone the entire
It was
movie,
great.
that weird Nokia
That was
phone.
actually great.
It was kind of great,
I
but
enjoyed that a lot.
One of the few things that survived.
Is
that Nokia
good
phone.
point. Excellent ad.
You know what kind of phone it is.
Yeah.
The fact that they couldn't just punch it into the GPS and then he needs to, like,
Well, no, that was 2006. That was just before iPhone, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So
No, but I mean, I get it, but like, no, but it just ages the movie in a way that, like, it wouldn't otherwise, right? Like, because I think otherwise it stands out as, like, again, visually, it's ambitious and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
I think the moment where I'm like, what are we doing, was twofold. Was the first interaction when she pulls her over.
I think we almost have the same one. Yes.
She pulls her over, straight up just bounces.
yeah.
Why? That's your child. You're not doing anything.
This
I was
is
like,
my
wait.
big one. That is my
Okay,
big one.
was it?
Oh yeah.
I was just like, I don't like what are we doing? And then to further that interaction, it was the like where I had just finally walked over, picked my controller up, and I walked back over to the couch. And when she does meet her in Silent Hill through the fog and everything, and she talks on the radio, and she goes, "This is Officer Bennett to base. Bennett to base.
Yeah.
Who says base? Like what? That's your like base? That's what cops say. I
Base,
was just
base,
this whole
base.
base.
Knowledge.
All of your base.
All of your base.
are now belong to
It
us.
was an Easter egg.
Must have had to have been.
Is that what it was?
Was it?
As much coherence of that scene from that game as is in this movie.
Yes,
Silent
totally.
All right.
But I was like, again, like we always I always look for the silver lining. I felt like I too could write movie dialogue. Is my point.
In that case?
I mean,
In that case?
yeah. If this movie got
Ego
made.
booster.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah.
It's the small things.
So that was your big one, Stacey, that you
okay,
shared.
so mine started a little bit earlier than that. It starts with when they pull over at that gas station and she gets out of the car. And so here's this thing. This mother, so worried about her daughter, so worried about her
where you're
child,
going.
driven crazy with grief because
Yes.
there is something wrong with her child and she needs to fix this problem.
She does.
Honey, stay in the car. I'll be right back. And as she's walking away, she passes a stranger walking towards her vehicle. Doesn't blink an eye.
Oh, no, it's a police
walk
officer.
Up. I don't care.
Now, keep me honest here. Was she wearing the aviators at night? She was.
Yeah. She
Correct.
was.
Yeah. Okay.
She
I'm just
was.
making sure because it's sexy.
I wouldn't have trusted that anyways.
Yeah, she looks like a fake, like a T1000 posing as a
Yeah.
cop. Just like that's not a cop.
Like it was
I-
the only
I would
reason
have turned around and gone back to my
Like,
kid.
what are you doing?
I would have brought my kid with me. I don't.
It's like we're in a place that we don't know, and there's people around
Stay
that
in the
she doesn't
car.
know. Oh, she's tired.
She's fine.
She's tired. But I will say, I think they made up for that with the officer coming up, with Sybil coming up, and her going, "I'm gonna talk to strangers." Good girl. That's it.
I mean,
that's it.
Okay, was that but that doesn't justify Rose's
Not
actions.
at all. But that's a good way to go. Oh, okay. At least it's not like
Fine.
"Come with me, little girl,"
Yeah.
or whatever
Yes,
you thought it might have
They
been.
made sense there, but it doesn't justify her actions. And then,
sense is a stretch. Okay,
Well, all right, fine,
It
fine.
made something, but I don't know if there was sense. Before we move off of this, though, I really want to
Okay.
talk about
Oh, we're
that.
not. We got plenty.
That
Oh, yeah.
restaurant, in and of
Oh.
itself, is amazing. I don't know if you caught the neon signs where it says tattoos, piercings, like waffles, unleaded. This is a magic little diner
it
where
was
you can
amazing.
get like.
One-stop shop.
I mean, totally. I like
Unleaded tattoo waffles.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would like
All at once if you want it.
What ails you?
I'd like a moon over my hammy and a huge like tramp stamp right here.
No, it's like-
at the same time. Can I get them both?
No, all three services at the same time. I would like a moons over my hammy. Is that a sandwich tattoo? No, all of it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Put it.
Is that like
put
a-
moons over my hammy
Moons
back
over my
here?
hammy.
Give it to me on a
Get
plate.
that sandwich.
I love this sandwich.
It was just, it was so bizarre. Like,
It was perfect.
It
It
was
was
perfect.
very-
It was like you would expect Seabass from Dumb and Dumber to be there.
Kick his ass, see
Kick his ass. Mine was when the very rational Sean Bean, and I mean that 100%.
Oh, I know.
The very rational human being,
Yep.
Christopher De Silva, giving a call to Rose saying, "Have you seen that? Have you done any of the research on this place?" She went, "Yeah, but we have to go. She has to see this. We have to figure everything out." It's like, clearly you didn't read
Yeah,
everything.
did you? The
No, you
pages are
didn't.
open.
And the fire's still burning.
But it's okay to take, again, the daughter that you care about so deeply and want to protect.
It's okay,
You're
it's
gonna-
clean coal, which is totally a thing that exists, and that's the only bit that I'm going to be doing related to public
No,
life.
please do. Just keep.
God,
listening.
no. God, no.
What are your thoughts on Trump while we're here? How much time do you have?
Have you played that game, Protect the President?
I have not.
I think it's like $5 on Steam, but you're a bodyguard protecting President-elect Rump from assassins.
Oh.
And it's like a slow motion. And it's like ragdoll physics. It's really funny. Everybody should check it out.
All right.
Because a lot of gamers are playing it. A lot of the YouTubers are playing it right now. Either way, unrelated to that, another one that I had is her wavering confidence. Is how she can go from like to everything.
Yeah.
Just screaming about
Yeah.
everything to no. We can do this. We can get through
Yeah.
this.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
stick with me. No,
Totally.
Constantly.
excuse me?
Yeah, based on what, lady? Like, yeah, what's
She has
giving
no
you
reason
that
to think
confidence?
this. She has no idea what's going on because we have no idea what's going on. I mean,
No.
there's literally no clue as to what is happening in this place.
She's hard to
But
watch.
yet-
Until
I like her
until they
strategy.
literally explain everything at the end.
Yeah, just this dump, this
And
exposition
even then,
dump, just be like.
and
"Bleh."
even then,
I know, totally. Like, I know. Like, when I realized that there was, I was doing this thing simultaneously where, like, I'm watching this on Apple TV, right? And I watch that little counter at the bottom, and as it starts winding down, I'm simultaneously going, I'm almost done with, how are they going to do the trigonometry involved to get me back to how any of this makes sense? And I'm like, oh, this will be good.
they're just gonna talk you straight through it.
Just, oh, okay. I
right
see
through.
what you did there.
Oh yeah.
We see they shot all of that extra footage, but they lost the audio. So they're like, crap. I guess we just gotta. It's already 2 hours. We gotta turn that all into just a montage.
Yeah.
You know. So speaking about cast, I know we have a lot of we have plenty of controller toss moments.
We do.
But since we do have a little bit lower of a time this week, I want to kind of get through the rest of the show. So our main cast, Radha Mitchell as Rose Da Silva, Sean Bean, Sean Bean or Sean Bon, however you prefer, as Christopher Da Silva, Laurie Holden as
who
Sybil.
lived to the end.
I was gonna say.
Let me just really important
Tip of the
bit
cap.
there.
If there was a movie that he wasn't going to live in, it was this.
gonna
I
be
mean,
Silent
every
I
other one,
thought
but
he
Silent
would,
Hill.
I made a bet with my husband about how long he was going to last, and I was wrong.
When he goes to the town, yeah, super dead.
was
Look,
wrong.
once he first takes the mask off, it's like, and he's done.
Yeah.
That's it. Count
Yeah,
it.
Yep.
I thought that was it.
Who
And,
had 45 minutes in? All right. Let's just adjust the pool.
you know?
Laurie Holden played the officer Sybil Bennett, and I made a note that the director saw her in The Majestic. She was the female lead in The Majestic, which is one of my favorite movies.
It's a great film.
And to take her character from that and go badass cop
Yep.
with a pixie cut.
Yeah.
I don't see it. She did great. She was wonderful, and she had one of my favorite lines. She had one of my favorite lines in the movie, but and was a much stronger female character than Rose. Deborah Kara Unger as Dahlia Gillespie, Kim Coates as Officer Thomas Gucci, Tanya
Which
Allen
was
as Anna,
weird. Can we touch
the
on
male officer.
Kim Coates?
Yeah.
You familiar with him? Tig on Sons of Anarchy. He plays a really fucked up, yeah, that's that guy. Yeah, Tig. Yeah, like I know, I was unwatchable in this. Yeah, for those of you familiar with that show, like he's diametrically different dude than he is in this film, and he's like clean cut and like trying. I mean, he gets a
Shows
little weird
his,
toward the
his
end, but like
reach.
I was like, what's not the same, dude? But like, there's I don't know, just he's got this look in his eye, like he's up to some shit. And like, I did not trust that cop at all.
I didn't either.
I didn't
based
trust
on that.
him from the beginning.
No.
Even without having that picture in my mind.
Yeah, but now that you know he's Tig, he's
Well,
like,
that's,
yeah, like
that's even, yeah.
yeah.
But then at the end, when it's like there were some good people, and it shows him, and then you're like, "What?
Yeah.
You didn't give us that clue
No,
whatsoever."
I know
No.
totally.
Is this supposed to be a swerve?
Yeah,
Who
I know.
cares?
Like he straight up was like, some of them deserve to die. You're like, whoa, I'll get me out of the car right now.
Kidding, yeah, bye.
Though when you think about it, and he shows the burns on his hands, and you realize it's because he was trying to protect.
Right.
The-
But you don't learn that till later. And so when they show the scars, I'm like, that's just the dangers of masturbating. I just was like,
That's where he cut off all of the
what?
hair.
That's your first justification.
I know. At this point, like, you get just a little punch drunk when you're just like, I can't anymore. Just
Fair
stop.
enough. I mean, fair
Just to
enough.
myself. I think I just said that out loud.
It's why he wore gloves.
Yeah.
What did everybody think of Christabella, who turned out to be the ultimate villain by the end of it, the leader of the cult, the burn leaders?
What did you think, Stacey?
There was just so much at that point.
She was fine, and then all of a sudden it was, she is the mother of the witch, and then all of a sudden it's turned on a flipping dime.
So
Yeah,
stay with me though,
weird.
because she was hard to watch, and also I lost the thread there where, like, at the end when they're trying to burn them, right? The girl and then the cop, Sybil, she's like rallying up the crowd who's super on board for burning both witches. There's not
yeah.
anybody going, excuse me, I don't think we should burn them. That's
No
a bad
one is
idea.
against it.
No, but I don't know why she's like hard selling to this crowd. We should burn. Yeah, we know your rhetoric at this point. They're burned. They're definitely getting burned.
You've been here for, a pretty long time.
I didn't show up not to
talking
burn
this,
somebody. Yeah,
like,
totally. I mean,
You've been talking about this for years.
Light 'em up.
I
In
put on
your
my burn
little-
pants.
Yeah.
yes. So it's like, well, who's this for? I was.
A strong performance, but I think she should have been more of a through line and more of a hint starting earlier. Like, we should have seen her earlier to make her go, oh, maybe she's not a great.
Yeah,
she's
we
not a
should
good
watch out for
person.
her.
Because and now moving into some game similarities and a bit of the plot, they introduced Pyramid Head
They did.
because he's
Yeah.
Pyramid Head.
That was the one that made no sense to me. Like the nurses, I feel that they justified by doing the whole hospital thing. Okay.
Right.
They made that work. Pyramid Head, however?
So I would ask you this though. I agree with you, and I'm not sure. Can you make a Silent Hill movie and not have a Pyramid Head in it?
No,
No.
you should make it work with
No,
him.
I mean, right.
but they didn't even try to make it work.
I'll give you that for sure. So dude had to be here, and was terrifying, admittedly.
Sure.
That
Oh,
scene
yeah.
when he straight up picked that woman and yanked her whole skin off and threw it at the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, if this movie done some screwed up shit before that, but I'm like, whoa.
That was a whole new level.
Yeah, I was just like,
what I
all right.
Like earlier when I talked about movies having a whoa moment, that was my exact reaction.
Didn't see that coming.
was
Just
one
like,
of them. Like, wow, they really went for it.
off go the clothes, and yep, there's a skin. all right. Just the skin bag hits this, like, just hits the side of the church.
He
Just
took the clothes off and I was like, oh, this is getting weird. And then I went for the skin and I was like, oh.
yeah.
I mean, if I was
it
going to pierce her with his giant metal rod,
yeah.
for symbolism's sake,
sure?
yeah,
Yeah.
just rip off the skin.
No.
Yeah, no, just tear it
That
apart.
scene too was so like it really lingered on like how he grabbed and twisted before he did the pull. And I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa.
It was really brutal.
Yeah, that was real gross.
More on that later in the show, because it's going to come back around from my perspective anyway.
All right.
Yep.
Oh, man. All right.
So how do you feel the sort of core mechanics were represented in the movie? Because we got wandering, we got some history, we got some flashlights.
There were some things I think they did well. I really liked the. I wish they leaned into it more because I think it could have actually worked well. Would be the radio static.
Yeah.
I think that just would translate very well to two people wandering around in the fog and whatnot.
That could have been an easy one to
Totally, right?
implement in there.
And build tension kind of organically and inexpensively too, right? Like I know that we talked about its budget, but they could have built tension and then had like a really, Pyramid Head ripping somebody's skin off.
Like
I don't know.
that could be heard through the reception or whatever.
Or just like
Right.
crackles,
What is
right?
that?
When you're near, like when there's some
Yeah.
danger present.
They could use
What
that.
did you think? Did you think they were represented well?
I think so. I think they were represented well enough, but the problem with him trying to represent 1 through 4, especially with how different the room
For
was
sure.
compared to everything before in the first, like they're all so different, but Silent Hill being the connecting thread, I think they could have done something a little bit more special and less generic.
Sure.
But this is a mass market sort of thing, so Lost Daughter, people can connect to that pretty easily.
Yep.
But when the mom's a flippin' dipstick,
Useless.
Watch
she's
the
the
language.
worst.
I tried
Flippin'
to.
dipstick.
Flippin' dipstick.
Terrible.
I'm sorry. A flippant dipstick, not a flippin' dipstick. Forgive my lack of
She's
grammar.
real terrible.
How dare you?
Piece of shit. She was pretty bad. Pretty
She
bad.
was.
And I was like,
Well-
but what about my daughter? Oh, you lost your daughter too?
So-
That's so sad. Who gives a crap?
Who? So do you think it's who do you think would have done better? No, we'll get there. Do you think that it was more about her performance or what she was given to work with? Because I don't think. For example, if you take a step back and you look at, I don't particularly like Laurie Holden as an actress. I have a hard time watching her in Walking Dead. I rooted for her every week to die. I didn't think she was particularly great in this show.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not an actor. She's orders of magnitude better than me. I just don't like her performance in anything. So for me, she was just, I couldn't, that was indistinguishable. But like to me, I felt like Ms. Mitchell's performance seemed fine given the material, like
More or less.
direction, right?
Her character just was written poorly. I mean, they're just not.
I don't. The one thing that I would have, in defense of the material is Sean Bean did great. Like he was given crap, but he found a way.
That's true.
He found a way to make that work and coherent and he was the character that we cared most about, arguably.
He had
I think
far
so.
less though, right? He has
did.
so little screen time. My point is
did.
that like, of course he's gonna nail that. He's a Ned Stark.
The only questionable thing was, all right, records room, person leaves, I'm gonna walk right
yeah,
up,
that was
not the
weird.
back door, not the
No,
front.
no.
And the cop even comments on it later. It's like a 5-year-old could have covered themselves up better than you are. You flippin' idiot.
Yeah.
You flippin' dipstick.
Flippin' dipstick. God, it's
Put
just a
that
town
on
of
a shirt.
dipsticks. I would buy that shirt.
Silent dipstick. Terrible.
Aim is all right.
Dipstick Hill.
I'm interested to see. I can't wait till we
No.
get to casting because I feel like.
Okay. So we talked about how wait, did I put the wrong information? Either way, there's been a very long a very long sort of process to getting this movie adapted. And I believe I wrote the wrong director's name on here because this is a carryover. Yeah, Zach Lipovsky was the guy who directed Watchtower. What is it called? Dead Rising Watchtower.
yes, yes.
Excuse me,
Yes,
I
yes.
misspoke. Christophe Gans.
Okay.
Yes.
Forgive me.
French, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
He attempted for 5 years to get the rights
Okay.
from Konami, and he eventually won them over. And they're like, sure, let's expand into films. Seemed like it. And apparently, Sean Bean's character was supposed to was going to be a much smaller role.
Okay.
Very, very small role. And they ended up going, well, there's no male lead. There's no male in the movie.
Right. So when I read that, it made a lot of sense for how that whole storyline worked in the movie. I mean, it really had no impact on anything.
The only reason it did, they might trick us into thinking that it did was the ending.
Right.
I totally agree, right? That
Right.
they tie that off. It's the one thing they tie off well, but I agree, it's completely throwaway. And if you edit that ending off, I mean, literally, it adds no value.
It doesn't. I mean, and I felt like they kind of tried. They're like, well, we're gonna have him snoop around and try to get some information, but you're not really gonna actually learn anything.
He doesn't learn a thing.
Doesn't know
right?
anything, and then he just goes back home.
Yep.
And so it made a lot of sense when,
But I did kind of like that moment where Sean Bean is walking in the locker, like near the lockers,
hallway.
and they're in that
good.
same place at the same time.
Yes.
I thought that was cool, and whatever, they tied it off fine at the end. I really wish that could have been really interesting if he helped contribute into their escape or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Like,
Been able to connect a little more.
I think it could have been. I think that was definitely from a reshoot. That was definitely from something they added on later because we didn't get the same thing on the other side. Right?
Oh,
we only
you're
got
right.
it from the real reality, from Sean Bean's perspective. We didn't get it from Rose's
She
perspective.
her
didn't
noticing?
ever notice him.
No,
That's true.
she didn't ever go.
Well, maybe that's because
she
she's
didn't-
a terrible person.
And she was. I mean, she was running from.
he
a
just
giant
loves
meat
her
sword.
more. I
That
think
sounds
it's
good.
I
just.
think she's
that's
just
science,
terrible.
right?
No, she's just terrible.
She's just terrible.
I-
Chalk it up to that. Just
She probably wouldn't have noticed if her daughter was standing right next to her in the other dimension.
wow.
At that point in the film, I really don't believe.
I
that
love
she
it when you
cares
out
about
negative
her
me
that
on the
much.
show. I love it. Yes, keep going. Don't slow down. It's terrible. What else? How else do you feel about her?
I just don't like her
best.
a lot.
It's the best. I love it when she
Well,
gets like this.
Well, I can't wait
So
until we
good.
recast her at the end of the show.
Yes.
So let's move to critical. IMDb scores this at 6.6 out of 10, and Rotten Tomatoes, no surprise, 29% from the critics, 63% from the audience.
So just to touch on that really quickly, I know we're running long on time. Like,
Oh,
I think
fine.
you're right. Like, that audience score is what I've heard since then. Like I said, I walked out of it going, okay, not great when I saw it. But since then, people, I mean, even told my brother, like, hey, I'm watching this show. He's a big video game guy. And he goes, oh, great film. You know, he's got terrible taste in most everything. But he literally, that was his knee jerk, no hesitation. Oh, yeah, great film. And it had to be a little bit more optimistic kind of coming back into it. So there is this weird attachment. I think, is it that gamers really like identify with his loyalty to the source material, or what is it about this film that people really want to take up for? Is it the production value?
I mean, I think that the sets were amazing, and I think that a lot of it was actually, it could have been really scary.
Yeah.
I mean, the design for all of the creatures.
Yeah.
And I mean, even the idea of like the weird cult, had it not gotten so convoluted.
Yeah.
That's a downright terrifying idea.
Because it also seemed shoehorned at the end. Like, there was no, and there was a
It was
cult.
like, oh, by the way,
Yeah, it's
we
all
got this too.
check. Yeah, these people can stay. It was like Anna, the character in the hotel, was just like, oh, there's a group of us that stay holy, and it's like,
Anna's the best.
where was it until she got her skin ripped off?
She's the biggest. Like, she's like this NPC in a video game that just like, for some reason, the scripting's broken and just follows you for some reason.
I'm coming too.
Yeah, just like, all right. It was like weird Skyrim glitch.
And it is. And she just stands there like, she's like, we have to go now. To these people she just met,
I know.
Booked it back
Yeah,
in there.
totally.
Bye, guys. You do what you do.
And they were-
I ain't playing hero. I've been living like this for God knows how long.
This place sucks. This place sucks.
But also the opposite side of that being like, oh, we should take care of her. She needs our help. It's like, bitch, she's been living here for years.
She's been doing just
doing
fine.
all right.
Y'all
You've
just got here.
And almost died like thrice.
Yeah.
She's
Like,
doing fine.
She's actually going out of her way to make sure
Yeah.
you get to safety.
It's
Like,
just so weird. She's just all of a sudden with them. Like, because they meet in the lobby and all of a sudden they're like, they're together upstairs.
she's
I was
following them
like,
around.
all right. Picked up a party member.
Roger Ebert, little-known critic from the Chicago Sun-Times.
Yeah, who's that?
Says, not only can I not describe the plot of this movie, but I have a feeling the last scene reverses half of what I thought I knew or didn't know. So the very last scene where they're both in the same place but not.
I mean, I do agree with that.
Yeah, like-
I can't explain the plot either.
I think
really.
the worst thing about that is there's no payoff.
Nope.
That was supposed to be a payoff, but it's like sequel, and they completely different cast, completely different people, completely different story, which is indicative of Silent Hill as a
Sure.
franchise.
Yeah.
But
Right.
you don't do that.
No, not
This is-
with that.
This is pre-post
Look,
credit scene.
I didn't need anything else after all of that razor wire just penetrating people and pulling them apart. I
just getting crazy.
I feel like, it was pretty good. It was, whatever ending, just throw something on there. They could have done a That's All Folks and like
You could just start walking away and done with it.
Like if they ended it,
They didn't even have to leave Silent Hill at that point.
No.
They could have just done it.
Home Sweet Home, right? They just make
if they ended it
cross stitch on the
with
wall.
Sharon at the last minute opening up her eyes and seeing Alessa and like being surprised, and then you see her like sort of getting imbued with her, and then you hear one line of like who will be next or something like that, and that ends your movie, then you're like, whatever you got, I am interested.
Bring it.
Yeah, but not like, why is it sunny in one house and not in the other?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it drags.
I know.
It's like I get it. I get it.
Yeah, totally.
I get it. I get it.
10 minutes later, and we're still
get
just
it.
figuring out, like, guys.
Yeah.
come
I
on.
would say arguably longer than all of the endings of Return of the King.
It felt like it.
Kept going.
It
And it
did
was
feel
one,
like it.
It was just
For
one.
one. I'm with Patrick, though. I think they should have just ended with a close-up of a cross-stitch on the wall that says Home Sweet Home.
I'm just setting up camp, right?
And
Just like, I
there.
am just like,
That's it.
Well, this is where I live now.
Until
Done.
the ash tears me apart.
It's fine. It's fine.
Found a positive one though. There were some.
Shut your mouth.
Brian Tellerico
Well.
from Hugo says Silent Hill starts out at point A, then goes so quickly, loudly, and visually over the top that it flies completely off the rails into its own glorious weirdness.
Yeah, okay, I can get behind all of that.
Except the word glorious.
Glorious.
It's kind of
Although it is, I mean,
again,
Like he mentioned, the razor wire finale.
it's like the
that
fuck,
was
just-
glorious.
I mean, no, that's a word for it.
And that we got
It's
teased.
just like, what the
We got
fuck?
teased in the bathroom at the school that razor wire
Yes.
is you'll get revenged.
Yeah,
pretty hardcore.
Yeah, that was
good.
that was
And then the
real
reveal
gross.
of that scene and that
that was
character.
creepy.
Could you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, super got what he deserved. Didn't feel so bad for
Oh,
that
no.
fool.
No.
To explain to me though, like, how does she? There's an arrow pointing to his mouth that says to pull that shit out
Oh
of
yeah,
his mouth.
I
Like,
didn't
don't
understand that.
Such a
jump.
leap of logic.
And also, what it actually had to do with later on. It just happened to also be in the hotel. Was there something I missed?
I think it got
miss
her.
Something?
I think it said. Like when she found that means like that's the next step in her journey. Go to the
Did it
hotel.
say hotel?
Alessa is trying to
No,
become...
I understand.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, no, I understand all that. But that piece in particular that she pulled out of his
What
mouth.
was the importance?
No, it was part of the hotel. Yeah, it
Yeah,
said
but did it
hotel
say
on it. Yeah,
hotel?
it did.
Okay.
I think it did.
Did I miss
Yeah,
that?
it
All
said
right.
something because she said, "Hey, where's this hotel?" And they went, "Oh."
Yeah, but
Okay.
when you see Homeboy all just jacked up in a stall, like I don't understand what was the impetus for like her reaching into the mouth. I think there was like an arrow, but like also
Yeah.
didn't vaguely say like I would never put my hand
why
in that
would you
thing's
just
mouth.
do that?
No,
I
was
thought
like,
we were gonna
oh.
get a bite.
But what
Something.
caused it? It's as
Yeah,
crazy
no.
as her running from the cops. Just like it is an unmotivated behavior. Like you see that, you go, you know what I should do? Let's just who knows what's in there?
Well, also, you
It's
know-
a
Maybe
grab
there'll
bag.
be something cool.
Yeah.
You know what wasn't
Who knows?
weird? When Alessa was like, "I'm gonna become a part of you now," and slurps into her, and she's like, "Oh,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
it.
And
Time to go back."
That
Bip-bip-bip.
was really unsettling.
And then stabbed in the chest, and then the darkness, like
Oh,
that
yeah.
was like cool, and then it healing. I thought she was gonna have a coming to Satan moment, where it's just gonna be like, "Okay, y'all,
Yeah.
y'all are boned." Nope, never. What?
We didn't get that.
We didn't get that from her. We got that from Alessa Incarnate.
Her
Yeah.
slow walk where she just, to your point, where she's just like monologuing, smacked in the face, and then just like, and this smack again, just like unfucking phased. She just kept going. I was like, all right.
That was Alessa, I think, taking control of her and going, "I don't care about this vessel.
I just, yeah. at
Whatever,
some
I'm
point-
in the church."
Yeah, I mean,
Fair.
I was like, oh, just stop. That's just not okay.
Slap,
Yeah.
slap, stab."
I love the first
Yeah.
guy, the first dude who runs up. Like he knows he's doing some shit wrong. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I know you're just this lady and I shouldn't hit you, but it's just like, it's just it made me
Bottle
laugh
that.
so hard because he
The wrong
leaves the
type of
crowd.
laughing.
And, yeah, totally. It's not okay, but he leaves the crowd. What? Again,
It's like
a
one
weird
dude
NPC.
wore Witchburn in pants, other dude wore punch a woman pants.
Oh, I wore my woman
hankering.
punching pants today.
It's like Nick Cage from crap.
All right.
Just can't.
Where he's dressed up as a bear and he punches Kathy Bates in the face. That's one of my favorite scenes out of context. Or no, No, he's not in the bear costume at that point. But he's it's just a slow approach of Nick Cage, and Kathy Bates is like got a really smug look on her face, and he just goes, "Whoop!" and just knocks her the fuck out. God, I don't remember that movie, but it was with the bees. Wicker Man.
Okay.
There's
Alright.
some hilarious comedy.
All right.
Probably shouldn't be considered comedy, but
my.
so why don't we move on to our, and I know this is going to be difficult for y'all, but it was pretty easy for me.
Oh, was it?
Our favorite lines.
Could you go first?
You want me to go
yeah,
first?
I would, because you're so excited about this.
Okay.
And now
You
you've
are
been
very
bragging,
excited.
dare I
Right.
say,
There was-
bragging
I know.
that it was so easy for him. Let's see
it
what
was
you got.
Super easy.
Bring it.
So my first favorite line
My first
is
favorite.
the sound effect that was made when Pyramid Head ripped Anna's skin off. The
Oh.
like
alright,
that beautiful
That
Foley.
Yeah. I agree. It was like
Alright.
wet and gross in the wrongest way.
And because Pyramid Head doesn't have any dialogue, that's the closest thing that he had.
That's a good point.
So yeah,
So,
that's my favorite line.
Gold star goes to Mark Donica, the internet's own, because that, my friend, was
That
probably
is-
the best single line we've ever had on the show.
I do have another one, and I was telling Stacey earlier that we probably don't share any.
No.
Probably not.
No.
So that's one down for me.
Okay.
What do y'all have for your quote favorite line?
Mine, it was a bit of an exchange. I usually do these exchanges. This is Christabella and Rose talking, and Christabella says, "Are you a person of faith?" And she responds with, "I love my daughter." And she goes, "It's not what I asked." Great. It's a great answer to a slightly different question, moron.
And that doesn't help her case either, because you're
No.
like, yeah, what an idiot.
Yeah,
I
I know.
agree with you, person.
I mean-
oh, you're the devil.
Yes.
Whoops.
So,
Well,
it's so good because I
about that.
literally was like, "It's not at all what." Oh yeah, you go, Christabella. This is stupid. It's pretty great.
Accidentally identified with the devil incarnate.
100%.
The devil
Go
in human
figure.
form. Whoops.
Go figure.
What do you got,
got?
Stacey?
It's another one of Rose's flip-flopping moments. So she's been running around screaming her head off with poor Bennett chasing her through town. And then at one point Bennett starts to freak out like, "Oh my god, what is going on?" And Rose is like, "I know this is crazy, but we just need to calm right down."
That was one of the moments I was talking about with Control Toss. She was like,
exactly.
"Ah, hold on.
Hold on.
Yeah.
And she's like, "We just need to calm right on down." And I'm like, "What?"
You first, bitch."
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dipstick. You
So-
first, dipstick.
Dipstick.
I have to go more vulgar.
I wish they'd have just kissed at some point. So much sexual tension between those two.
It
It's
would have made it better.
Totally. And that's really why her husband didn't want her leaving to Silent Hill, because then she just went there and fell in love, and he knew that, she was in a loveless marriage, and she just found her true
This
And
is
then
a
you get-
compelling story.
I know.
And then you get your home sweet home ending too.
Totally.
Yeah.
They're just playing home together. I found my true love. I just wanted them to kiss the entire time.
Sitting down by the fire,
Yep.
full of children.
So
Full
much
of
more
full
compelling.
of
The fire
haunted
filled
little
with
little
ash
chillins,
children.
Ashen
little
children.
ash
Ash children?
chillins. My Sybil and Rose, this exchange is pretty great. Sybil goes, "They used to say this place was haunted." Rose goes, "I think they were right." You think?
Yep.
You think?
That's a trailer
I got
line.
that one written down
You
too.
think?
That's a trailer line.
Is it
Oh,
really?
man.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be.
That's just one of those lines where it's like,
But they kept
and that
it
sells our
in.
movie.
It just like
They kept it in there though, and it was great.
It was pretty great.
They were right.
For the wrong reasons.
used to say this place was haunted. Yeah, they were right.
You think?
We're gonna need a bigger boat. I am the night.
Honestly, that's amazing. Don't ever stop doing that. Did we land? Did we land on if it was haunted though?
I mean, it
I'm
is.
just kidding. Just
I mean,
like stop.
Pyramid Head's a pretty good.
Pretty, yeah.
That's the first one where
Again.
you go, shit's fucked up hospital.
Shit's fucked
Yeah.
up hospital.
Yeah.
It's Ash children.
SFUH. Another one of mine was from Bennett at her very end, where she says very defiantly, "Burn in your own hell." And just like, fuck yeah, man.
all right.
One last defiant before my skin just gets burned. That's a hot fire.
Also,
if,
yeah.
if
God,
she's
that
melting.
was-
From a distance away, and they lingered on that for a long time too.
Oh yeah, they drew that out.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
some
That one out.
pretty gross
Slowly building.
peeling
yeah.
foley there too. That because the screen,
Yeah.
yeah, real
Snap,
gross.
Crackle pop.
Yeah, that was unsettling too.
Those are my two. Does anybody have any others?
Well, I have one that was probably the most oft-uttered line of the entire
Oh.
movie.
Okay.
Sharon? Yeah. Sharon?
All right.
Sharon!
See, this makes me
That
want to
what
see a Heavy Rain movie, though.
Oh yeah.
Sean! Sean! Oh God! All right, so let's go. It's going to our last game of the night,
Yes.
which is recast. We like to do recast from the year the game came out. This is 1999, and we're going to be doing Rose, Christopher, Sybil Bennett, and Christabella. Why don't we start at the bottom? Let's start at Christabella, our villain, and move all the way back up.
I've got some extra credit when we're done too.
Do you? Ooh,
Okay.
extra credit.
I do.
Were you cast in Pyramid Head?
I did. That would have been so good.
As Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
Obviously.
No, Officer Thomas and I cast Sharon as
So
well.
why don't you do Officer Thomas?
Just really quickly, that's 1999. That's Kevin Spacey all the way.
Oh, sure.
A little less creepy, but like unnerving, but like so. And then Sharon would have been Dakota Fanning at the time.
She was such a non-issue in the movie, though. Like it was
Oh,
about
yeah.
her, but the girl was such a non-issue at the time. That's why I didn't.
That's
do
where
it.
I was coming
Yeah.
from though. Would be especially if it's about her and Dakota's strong. They really could have done more.
Agree.
True.
Anyway,
But
just
made
a
her
thought.
an
Just a thought.
actual-
Okay.
So
Christabella.
Stacey Christabella, because we got your extra credit
Yeah,
already.
no, for sure.
I can't say mine was too inspired, but I picked Helena Bonham Carter.
Oh, up top. That's what I got too.
Wow.
Yeah, look right there.
Alright.
Helena
Interesting.
Bonham Carter.
I-
She crushed that.
Oh yeah, I think she destroyed
Crushed
it.
that, and she was coming right off the turn as
Is that Fight Club?
Fight Club.
Fight Club.
Yep.
Yeah, that was Fight Club.
See, now I went top of the bill.
Oh,
All right.
Who's the best possible female actor that you could get for anything?
I might use them later, so I don't want to.
I know. Now I'm like, hold on.
Meryl
God.
Streep.
Whoa!
And I would say if you can't get her, because you probably can't, because she won an Oscar that year. Julianne Moore.
Okay.
Because she both
Okay.
do that sort of oft crazy
Yeah,
empowered
yeah,
woman
yeah,
so
totally.
well
Both would.
that could give the
Yeah.
movie some sort of relevance.
Both would crush that.
True.
A
Both
little
would
bit more
crush
than
it.
Yes.
Scene Bean.
But it's 2-1, so we won that one.
Oh no, yeah,
Crushed
I think
it.
you guys won. Sybil.
Who do you got?
I got Sarah Michelle Gellar,
Ooh, that's
who was at the tip top of
love
like
that.
alt
real good.
casting.
That's real good.
and
Yeah.
badass.
Yep.
Very
Sarah
good.
Michelle Gellar any day.
So I got sexy cop, a lot of leather. You got to go Carrie Ann Moss. You got to go Carrie Ann. You too? All right, we are winning this. Fucking
Are you guys
destroying
evil
you.
twins?
We are evil
Who's
twins.
the good? Who's the evil?
I'm definitely the evil.
Oh, okay.
I'm definitely, but not
Oh,
this week.
it's the-
She's
not
way
good,
more
apparently.
evil.
No, I was
this
gonna
week.
say it's the ginger thing.
It's a ginger.
It's okay.
But yeah, like again, straight off Matrix, she's Trinity. Like
Oh, yeah.
it was so like, and honestly, that was easy casting for her because it was like all leather and tight. If we're going hot cop, she would crush that and be way more compelling. I think
I agree.
wouldn't root so much for her
That's good.
to be dying.
So now we go Christopher, played by
so curious.
Sean Bond.
Sean Bond.
Yes.
Stacey, who do you have for Christopher?
Brendan Fraser.
Oh, I was this close. We almost went. So that was my actual backup. We almost
Really?
went 3 for 3.
I wrote down Brendan Fraser.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but we would have been all three of us for the first time, I think, in history.
Yeah, that's
I
never
had that written
happened.
down. I backed off of it because I needed somebody with a little bit more gravitas.
Who did you have?
Okay.
I went with Russell Crowe.
Okay, I thought
Also very good.
So, like,
I
dude's a
went-
badass.
Willis.
Willis?
Bruce
almost
Willis.
did. I almost did.
Because he's
Oh.
coming off of paranormal stuff with Sixth Sense.
Yep.
Yes.
Strong.
And that's good brand
That's strong.
recognition.
And I could see him playing that successful, like,
It would be a much
concerned hubby.
And it would also be
Yeah.
a much more established role. Like they were like, we got
Sure.
Bruce Willis, we got
Yeah.
to use him. And also, he's notorious for being on sets and going, this is useless. Tighten this up. Let's do that. So all of
A
the
value add.
He would have pulled
exactly.
it together.
He
yeah.
would have been a valued member of the crew as well.
I like it.
That was weird. That's
That
weird
was
though.
That's real weird.
This is weird.
That's real weird.
All right, I'm interested to see who everybody has for Rose.
I'm on an island. I want you to go first, Stacey.
I know.
Who do you got?
Rose was hard.
Yep,
so,
I agree. We didn't have much to work with.
I went between two. I kind of thought like the overprotective mother, Nicole Kidman, could
Oh.
pull
I
it
almost went
off.
Kidman. I almost went Kidman. I like that.
It's not bad.
That was
It crossed my
But
mind.
But didn't she do? She did a horror movie like that though, didn't she?
The other, no, wait, The Hours?
Oh,
The Hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
she did the
yeah,
hours.
past
in
that, huh?
early
That was, a,
2000s.
that was a fun movie, too.
That's right.
So that's in her wheelhouse.
Orders
yeah.
of magnitude better than
I
this
think
one.
about that one. Wow.
What do you got, Patrick?
I got, coming off of, but 2 years later, but she was just on The Saint, so I got Elisabeth Shue.
Elisabeth Shue. Interesting how we're this is the one that we're not gelling on because it was a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
I cast both versions of Rose, the and the strong,
Nice.
to see how they could do the other one. So for the I picked Drew Barrymore,
Perfect.
who
Yeah.
could
All right.
could be a young mom at this point, and for the strong forward type, Gwyneth Paltrow.
I'm gonna go Gwyneth with you pairing off from like if you're asking me to vote on those, I go Gwyneth just because she'd be a better pair with Bruce or like
Right.
I would
Brendan.
believe. I would.
Would you believe Gwyneth Paltrow and Brendan Fraser?
No.
I mean, you didn't believe most of the romantic comedies he was in where he was like
Excellent
the lovable
point.
goofball.
I
It's
guess
like,
that's
you're
true.
very attractive. Deal with it. You're not a dork. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mummy I bought.
That was
yes.
fun.
That was good.
This is
great.
great. Wow. So
I
let
feel
us
better
know.
now.
Let us know who
Over.
you would cast either on Twitter using the hashtag VGMAnatomy or in our comments down below. That is our show. Final thoughts on Silent Hill before we go, Patrick.
Again, I don't think it's worth anybody's time, but I have to applaud. I applaud it. There were moments when I thought, hey, they can do something here.
See, now I want to take like all the plot points out and just do like those really terrifying moments because there were some like it would be worth it if only for some of these really terrifying sets and these horror. I mean,
I agree,
You know,
but-
fresh off all of the horror mazes that are now currently going on.
Yes.
This would make a fantastic horror set,
Dude,
like,
totally. And I think like, and even that theme too. Like, I think, and like, I know we'll get to Extra Life later, but I think that theme about a child and just being a ball of hate that they start exploring and how that hurts the world. Or I mean, at this point, it was catastrophic and it started
yeah, no,
Pyramid
it didn't
Head.
help
but it's
anything at that.
really, really a cool theme that they could do something Ring style or it's even similar,
Yes.
right? Like terrifying in that
and
regard.
yeah, if you got down to that simple kind of idea, how this was, and you know, he kind of described it like her world. This was in her head, all of her horrors. That's fascinating.
Yeah, I agree.
And that could make for
And that's the
great.
problem with the muddledness of it is you go in thinking that our main character is going to be what the city is about,
Right.
but no, the
No.
city was Alessa and Alessa's
Yep.
views. So if that was established earlier on, that
if
might
we
have helped
knew
us.
that, if we had more indication that this was about her, and
Yeah.
that you know it was all about her. Rose is just the woman who happened to get lost in her world.
Yeah.
That would have made a lot more sense and probably gelled a lot better.
The only time I would recommend watching this movie is Halloween time because of the couple because of those moments in between. Have a drink, talk over the movie because you're not going to understand it anyway.
No.
So
That's
I'd
a
say
good point.
Only
It's a,
Halloween.
mood, it's a mood piece in the
Yeah.
background. That's fair enough. I was gonna say there's so many better. Like
You look
go
up
watch
and you
Babadook.
see-
Go watch a quality horror film.
Unless
Go
you
watch
want to
those.
watch video game movies, in that case, you have a lot of options because they're mostly horrifying.
Excellent.
So the last thing we do on the show is we give our verdicts. Do we give this franchise an extra life, meaning we give it one last chance, or a game over? There is a sequel to this movie, but it has an unrelated story. So we're talking about Rose, we're talking about Alessa, we're talking about Sean Bean. Does this version of Silent Hill get a game over or an extra life? Stacey.
I mean, could we do a full reboot and streamline the ideas?
It's your world.
Not the way Konami's going.
Yeah, that would probably be the only acceptable way to keep going. Like as far as
So
a continuation, seeing if Rose and Sean Bean get reunited or anything like that. No,
Yeah,
I don't want it.
Samesies, right? Like this whole time, I'm over this whole group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just over it completely. Like, but I think there are a lot of like again ideas at play that are really interesting, and I think that premise of like it really screwed up down with like some bad stuff happened, and it's like the fog, and there's elements there that I think could lend
yeah.
itself to a really interesting and powerful narrative. I think so. I'm torn there. So yeah, I'm gonna give it an extra life.
I'm gonna say an extra life as well. The conditional extra life is we were so close to Norman Reedus, Guillermo del Toro, and Hideo Kojima creating a new version of Silent Hills, which was Silent Hill called Silent Hills, which could have been the gateway with so many creative and interesting people together. If it wasn't for Konami ruining it, I think the best way to sort of patch things up with the gaming community is give the same team. All right, guys, we know we didn't do the game. Let's do a Netflix series.
I'm
Let's
on
do a
board.
movie. Let's do
I'm
a
on
series.
board.
Let's do something
Yeah, you could pull a Netflix series.
because people still even go back and watch just PT, watch the
PT
playable
is
trailer.
fucked. Yeah, that is not.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever been more scared in my entire life.
Terrifying.
It's the first time
And that-
she messes with you, just
And that
nope.
alone has affected all horror games
I
in the
know
horror
it.
genre. And it's just a trailer, for
know.
God's sake.
I know. It is
Resident Evil 7.
terrifying. I know.
Like,
I know.
Goodness. And speaking of Resident Evil 7, we're probably going to be talking about that movie when it comes out later this
you know
year.
we are.
So yes, let us know what your verdict is down below. Before we go, next time we meet is going to be the bewitching Halloween night, October 31st.
It's true.
So that means we have to do
I know.
we
What are we
have to
doing?
do something that is beyond scary. So we have to combine a few elements here.
Okay.
We have to combine something that is a horror franchise. We have to combine a creative team that will make anybody jump out of their skin. So I made the
We're on
executive
edge.
decision.
We are. We don't know.
So
They
this
don't.
could go one of
I
two
have made
ways.
the executive decision
future's in his
to
hands.
do Uwe Boll's
Oh.
Alone in the Dark for Halloween. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to join in with us,
He hates
if
us.
you want to join in
He
on
like legit
Halloween,
doesn't like us.
I am Pyramid Head of Popcorn Talk. If you want to join us in our review, make sure to watch Alone in the Dark from Uwe Boll.
Took our skin, yanked it right off.
That's what I do.
Dejected. This whole side of
God.
the table
Love
is a
y'all.
wreck.
So until we meet on Halloween night, and make sure, spend your time wisely, because this will probably be the end of you. Play some Dr. Junkenstein's Revenge. Do all of the fun
Yes,
Halloween
play
stuff
all
that you
of
can.
Junkenstein's Revenge.
Where can the folks find you in the meantime? What will you be doing
Playing
aside
Overwatch.
from playing Junkenstein's Revenge?
No, that's really it.
On PC.
On PC.
So do you? What's your Blizzard ID if people want to play Junkenstein's Revenge?
I don't know
with
the
you?
numbers. I'm smart pop though.
Okay, there you go.
I'll put the numbers up on my Twitter. That's all I can do.
On my
Which is?
Which is, all right, hi guys. Which is at Stacey Shuttles or at Nerds Doing Stuff for all of my nerdy stuff.
Fair enough.
Patrick?
You can find me on Twitter. I'm at P to the Dees, and I'm going to throw this out because I decided, like, if you're watching this and you're playing games, especially over Halloween, it's what I end up doing most Halloweens anyway. I am playing games. Find me on PSN, find me on Xbox Live. I'm Truly Slide, which is a Fight Club reference. So if you want to truly slide,
Get it.
find me.
And why don't you find me on social medias as well? Why not?
Uwe Boll has broken us all.
Just
You're
don't.
telling me, and I
Yeah,
said it.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at Mark Donica. I do a whole bunch of stuff here at the Popcorn Talk. Jedi Alliance is our Star Wars podcast that I help co-host, and also on our sister site, we're doing a lot of stuff with professional wrestling. And if you're a Rooster Teeth fan, make sure tune in to our Crunch Time after show. Tune in to our Red vs. Blue after show. Ruby is coming back, and it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a great time. But remember, Halloween night we're doing Alone in the Dark. So I just gotta remind you so that you can die a little bit inside, just that one extra time. But that will do it for this episode of Video Game Movie Anatomy. Why don't you do us a favor? You have a good time, and we will see you next week.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.